your home and feeling like maybe you're not succeeding in either one. If you're struggling with balance, stay tuned because we're going to turn all that around today. I'm Amy Walker, small business strategist, speaker, and author. For all the tips that you need to grow your business and maintain balance at home, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so that you can get notified when new content comes out. I want to start off this video a little bit differently than normal. So I'm actually going to start off this video by telling you about the day when I had my mompreneur meltdown. I'm going to tell you how I pulled out of it and then give you some specific steps that you can follow in order to be able to have more success balancing business and family. You don't have to give up on one or the other, but you might have to do some things a little bit differently. So the day of my mompreneur meltdown, I was pregnant with my third. I had two little ones. They were like 2 and 4. I was about ready to have another baby. I was trying so hard in business and I was consistently missing my goals. And I remember this day where I was like, I'm done. It's too hard. I can't do it all. I quit. I can't support my family. We're getting farther and farther into debt. I keep saying all these big things that I'm going to do and nothing's happening and my kids aren't happy. And my husband had taken them out because I think he recognized I was at my breaking point. So I felt like I was, failing as a mom. I'm failing as a wife. I'm failing in business. And I had a legit meltdown. I was crying. I was angry. I was devastated. I was sad. I was feeling all the feels. And I was in my office that day and I remember just being in a space of prayer, but it wasn't like a happy prayer. It was like this is too much to have on my plate, God. Like I can't handle all of this. It's too much. It's too hard. You're not helping me. And I'm done. I quit. I'm done. And in that day, I remember really, truly feeling like I was done. And the thought that came into my mind was, you don't have to do any of it. I was like, what do you mean I don't have to do any of it? If I don't cook, the kids don't have food to eat. If I don't work, we can't afford to pay our bills. If I don't do this, then this won't happen. And the thought came again, only this time it was like sharp. It was like, you don't have to do any of it. And I pictured myself getting into my car, driving away, and never coming back. And I was like, oh, that's not good. I realized in that day that it was true, that even though I wasn't succeeding in all the areas that I wanted to, that I was there and I was trying and I was invested, and that I had to shift the way that I felt about my business and I had to shift the way I felt about my life, or something was going to break. And I hadn't realized how close I was at that point to the breaking point, and that what was going to break was me. The business, it wasn't what mattered so much. The family was going to be okay. But if I didn't make changes, I was not going to be able to sustain all of the things that I was trying to do. So it was a wake-up call for me. I like to call it a spiritual spanking, where God was like, be grateful for the things that you have and learn some skills, but stop telling me you quit because I have big things for you to do. So I want to share with you some of the things that I did to pull myself out of my mompreneur meltdown and feeling like I was constantly failing in both. So step number 1, first thing you're going to do, make a list of all your responsibilities. That was the very first thing I did. I actually did it that day after my spiritual spanking and my mompreneur meltdown. I made a list of every responsibility that I had. Step number 2 is write down how you feel about your responsibilities. I realized I had a lot of resentment towards being a mother. I had a lot of stress and worry towards being a wife. I had a lot of, my number one feeling about my business was inadequacy. So I had all of these responsibilities and then I had all of these emotions, and it was the combination of the responsibilities plus the emotions that was actually causing me to feel like a big fat failure. I wasn't actually doing a terrible job with my responsibilities, but the emotion level had gotten so high and so toxic that I did not feel like I could be successful at all. So that leads us into step number 3, which is we're going to do what I call emotional cleanup. So I went through and I worked on how I felt about all of my responsibilities, because I couldn't change the responsibilities overnight. But you know what I could change, and I did change that very day, was how I felt about them. So instead of feeling resentful towards my children, I felt grateful for my children. I felt happy to be with them. So I went through that emotional cleanup process. Now, if you don't know how to do emotional cleanup, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Some people journal about how they're feeling and then they go and burn the papers to burn those emotions out. Some people meditate and pray. I kind of do a combination of all of them. I journal about how I'm feeling, and then I go and I take that to prayer and I release those feelings and replace them intentionally with what I want the new story to be. So 3 is emotional cleanup. Get rid of all of those emotional burdens. You don't have to have them. You don't have to do them. They're optional. You can choose to replace them with better beliefs and better emotions. The 4th thing that I did was I went through and deleted things from my life. So I looked at that responsibility list and it was too big. I was committed in too many places. So I went through and I said, what could be done by somebody else? And I delegated things. And then I looked at what was unimportant in my life and I started cutting things out. I started making phone calls saying, I'm no longer going to be able to do this. I started saying, this thing that I'm putting so much pressure on myself for doesn't matter at all. Let's just get rid of it. Get rid of it. It doesn't have to be there. I remember at the time I had my son enrolled in a really expensive preschool that was like an hour away, and I withdrew him from the preschool and found something that was a better fit. I let go of the things that did not matter. Step number 5 is what can you phase out? Because there are some things that you can delegate out today, and there are some things that you can delete out today, and there are some things that it is going to take some time to get out of. And I've done this in business where I've like gotten into a contract with a client that wasn't the right deal for me, and I can't piece out today. I have to finish the contract and then I have to phase out that type of work. Or, maybe you are committed to doing something that you're realizing no longer works for you, but you're going to have to let them have time to find a replacement. There are things that will need to phase out. So you're going to delete, you're going to delegate, and you're going to decide what needs to phase out. Now, once you get to the end of that, it's time to do a review, and that is step number 6. What are your highest priorities? What are the things that are most important to you in life? I want you to look at them, and then I want you to look back at your list. Then I want you to go back and delegate, delete, and phase out again, because everything that's on your list should be in alignment with your priorities. And I find one of the biggest reasons why we feel like we're failing in business and in life is because we're not doing the things that are the top priorities for us. We're not spending our time in accordance with our values and the way that we want to live our life and the person that we want to be and the family and the business that we want to create. We're spending our time in a lot of other areas, and it's not on the essentials. So hopefully at this point, your list is looking a little bit more friendly. You've gotten rid of some stuff that you know is not important, but now you need to assess and look at the things that are still on the list. Are they in alignment with your values and your goals, and are they the essential things in your life? And if they're not, you got to go back to the drawing board again to get to the point where you're truly spending your time on the things that really matter, because that's where you'll feel successful. That's where you'll feel joy. My last step for you is to give yourself grace and forgiveness. My friend, you're doing the best that you can, and your best is enough. And I get emotional when I even say those words, because for years, I did not give myself that gift of saying, you're doing your best and your best is enough. And when I made that shift in my life, it was like I could breathe again. It was like I didn't have quite so much to prove to the world and to prove to myself anymore, but I just embraced who I was and where I was at in the journey. And this journey does require grace and forgiveness. So if you have been feeling like you're failing in business and failing at home and you just can't seem to get it together, forgive yourself. Take a deep breath. Tell yourself the words, I love you. You are doing a great job. Thank you for trying so hard. Thank you for having big dreams and big goals. And you know what? We're going to figure all this out. And then give yourself a fresh start to be able to go back to it. I hope this video has been helpful for you. It's a little bit more of like a personal journey of Amy's story than maybe some of my others. If you like this and this has been helpful for you, would you let me know? Because if you want more content like this, I'm happy to go more personal. I like up close and personal. And so I thank you for watching and want to just leave you with some encouragement that I believe in you. I believe that you can do this. I believe that you can have dreams and goals and a desire for success and be amazingly strong in your relationships and your responsibilities at home. I know you can do it. So thank you so much for watching. I would love if you would leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with other entrepreneur moms that you know maybe are in the midst of the same challenge. And if you'd like to join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, check out my private Facebook group, The CEO Spot. I would love to see you over there. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.